Hi all. You are on the Software Developer blog channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also like this video. In this video we will talk about algorithms and data structures and whether they are needed in programming now. I will tell you my opinion on this issue at the end of the video, but now we talked about the realities of the market and what different companies require. And we'll start with large corporations. Giant companies don't care what language you know or how many frameworks you've learned. Microsoft and Google don't need executors, of which they already have several thousand. These companies need people who can come up with and create a new product, optimize an outdated one, and further move these companies upward. Like it or not, to get into a company like this you need algorithms. It is not even the knowledge of algorithms that will help you pass such an interview, but the number of typical problems solved using them. Not everyone is destined to become the best in the programming world and work for companies like Microsoft and Google. Therefore, we will now look at more real examples of medium-sized product companies, startups, and outsourcing companies. And we'll start with the fact that everything depends on the specific company and your position for which you are applying. For example, in medium-sized product companies, algorithms and data structures may be asked for an interview, simply because they would like to find a better specialist. And not because it is needed when solving everyday problems. Yes, that's it, this information will be useful for developers in C++ or other low-level languages. Or in game dev. And I completely agree that this is important and needs to be known. But in most cases you will use ready-made solutions. Because this is a business and the speed of your development and delivery of this product and making a profit from it are important. The result is more important here and now. And that's why most often no one bothers or thinks about optimization. But soon, with this approach, a lot of debt arises that has to be cleared away. If we talk about startups, the situation is similar. Yes, of course, everything depends on the startup and the product it is developing, where algorithms and data structures are very necessary in the work. Any successful startup is not only a cool idea, but also an implementation. At the very beginning of the journey, when writing proof of concept, you can ignore both architecture and optimization. In this case, when developing and expanding a startup, you will have to allocate time for rewriting, refinement, refactoring. And often what you need to start is to write something that will work in the shortest possible time. The first MVP with the help of which you can hear opinions about the product, and you can also attract more investment from investors. Then you can improve, optimize your product in a relaxed manner, go through iterations and roll out new functionality. There's an interesting story here with outsourcing. It's very rare to find people asking about algorithms at an interview. This is due to the fact that the outsource needs to immediately throw the developer into battle. It is important for them that he understands the language and frameworks that are used on the project. Also, the candidate must undergo an interview with the customer, who also does not benefit from training an employee for even 2 weeks. Let's add here a large percentage of legacy code on the project, which is not only difficult to optimize, but also difficult to maintain. As a result, we get an interview in which they ask about experience, technologies needed for this project, teamwork, but not the ability to solve problems using algorithms. In my opinion, it all depends on the level of the developer and the company where he works. Of course, for beginning developers who want to find their first job as soon as possible, the best option would be to learn one language and several frameworks, and from the 3rd, 5th, 20th interview you will find a job. If we talk about more experienced developers, for example, now in your work you may not need algorithms. For example, if you lay out pages, develop APIs, work only on frameworks, and have hundreds of other routine tasks. But when you work with architecture and databases, knowledge of algorithms and data structures will definitely be useful to you. For experienced developers who currently do not need knowledge of this nature, I can say that fundamental knowledge of algorithms and data structures will help you find a more interesting project where you will need to write new functionality, rather than support and carry the old one. When advancing in your career, algorithms will definitely be useful to you and this knowledge will not be superfluous. I wish you success in learning algorithms and data structures. I hope this video was helpful to you. Until we meet again, bye.